Greetings, fellow seekers of truth, wisdom, and light, creatures of the universe. This is Reverend Eliot, your friendly neighborhood esoteric practitioner, coming to you live tonight from the city of New York, where we get together every Wednesday at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, and 8 Pacific to look through the magical window of the tarot. And here we are in February. Look at that, the shortest month of the year. Actually, this is one of those bizarre things because my father was born in a leap year on the 29th of February, so I've had more birthdays than my father did. I'm older than my father, which is kind of odd because he'd be well over 100 years old by now. But he only had a birthday once every 4 years. And that's kind of sad. I guess that was responsible for the trauma that he carried. I don't want to minimize it, but let's face it, everything is trauma now. Everything is post-traumatic stress disorder and trauma, and I think people ought to just stop, take it a little more seriously than that, because we've all known people who went through hideous traumatic things, and they don't come out the same. It's not the same as being called the wrong pronoun accidentally, but I have literally seen people claim that they have post-traumatic stress disorder from being unpronounced. So, I mean, come on. There are bigger things in the universe, and that's, of course, what this is all about. That's what the esoteric workshop is all about, which is the world. The esoteric workshop is the world. We're here to discover these things. How we can make use of natural magic. Now, there's a good one for you. I don't know if I have a page for that. I've got 100 and something pages at my website, magick-works.com, magick-works.com. But I'll have to take a look at that, because I do have some stuff there about candle magic in a terribly underdeveloped webpage at magick-works.com. And this kind of stuff is fascinating, because magical work is one of the first things that human beings did, according to certain anthropologists. Even anthropologists who aren't certain have proclaimed that this is possible. The idea that, for instance, where'd the moon go? One day it's there, and then it shrinks and it shrinks and it shrinks and it's gone, and then it comes back gradually. That's the cycles of the moon. So we have old religions have new moon rituals. You'll find that the ancient Hebrews, even before they became Jews, when they were Hebrews, and that is now there's a subtle distinction, but it's a fact that they still celebrate in some sects the Little Day of Atonement, it's called, and that is Yom Kippur Katan, which comes before the new moon. The new moon, of course, I see so many things in media and news just ruin it. They'll say things like, oh, no, there was a new moon tonight, so it was bright out. Well, no, the new moon you don't see. The new moon is the one that doesn't exist. Now, I'm going to tell you why I'm bringing this up. Not just because I'm rambling, although I'm pretty good at that, which is to distinguish rambling from conversing, by the way. It's a form of magic, of cleansing magic, and it's probably one of the first that human beings observed, because they observed the tides of the moon. If there are things in your life that you're not happy with, if there are things in your life that you want to get rid of, if there are aspects of your life or of yourself that you would rather minimize, you do it with the moon. You can look at the moon, and when the moon is full, think about those things that you don't like. Think about those things that you want to have go away. Watch the moon for the next couple of weeks every day. Well, every night. Every night. Because I'm just laughing because I saw a thing in the newspaper, some pseudo-celebrity, one of these people who we're told is famous, therefore she's famous. It went public by saying that when she was little, she thought that the moon and the sun were the same thing. It just got dimmer at night. Boy, we talk about an ice age then. Well, when you see the moon will start to crescent out. Now, I'm not going to say if it comes from the left or the right, because and this has got nothing to do with politics. There are people here living. I'm above the equator, north of the equator. There are people living south of the equator who listen to this show, and it's opposite. It's different there. It's the other way around. And of course, if it's not, you'll probably let me know. But what you get is you watch the moon from the full moon. It will start to shrink. It will decrease. It will get until it's a slender little crescent. And then when it's gone, that's the new moon. When the moon is gone, it's the new moon. And what you do is every day, every night, you just visualize that as the moon disappears, it takes away from you that which you want it to remove. Now, what do you do when it gets to zero? Shuffling up the cards here. When the new moon hits and it is completely dark, then it'll start to grow. And it will grow every night until you get to the full moon again. At that point, while the moon is growing, imagine the things in your life that you want growing to become more abundant and grow. And keep that in your mind. This is the essence of magical work, because it's in the mind. You see, that doesn't mean it's imaginary. Lon Milo Duquette, the great occultist and all-around great musician, and a hilariously funny person, was once confronted by somebody who said to him, "Isn't all this magical stuff in your head?" And he said, "Yes, it is. The thing is, you just don't know how big your head is." You see, that's profound. Please meditate upon that. But after the show, I want you to listen to the show first. Everything we perceive through our central nervous system, through our brain. We're not actually seeing anything. We're perceiving and interpreting the light that bounces off of it. So we don't really know what these things look like. We all agree upon what they look like. But I remember my parents were so confused. I couldn't have been more than 5 years old, because I said, like, here's the thing. I've got a piece of paper that's green, and I say it's green, and they say it's green. But I kept asking them, how do I know that what you say is green looks like what I say is green? This is kind of an advanced philosophical thing for a 4-year-old, but from what I've heard from people who have children, 4-year-olds do tend to drive you nuts, and that's probably part of it. But I still don't know to this day if what I look at and say is green is what you see as green. All you know is that we both, and I know, is that we both agree to call whatever that is green. It may look different to you. So there you go. I mean, it's about perception. And what you want to do is to train your perception. I went through some very difficult times, which I'm not going to go into now, because you can read Charles Dickens and get a pretty good idea of what my childhood was like. But one of the things that got me through those times were mental exercises that I still use, that I didn't know were meditations. How I knew to do this stuff is beyond me, such as imagining something else and putting myself elsewhere. I talk about this about a year and a half ago. I had to go in for an MRI or a CAT scan. One of those, not an MRI. Was it an MRI? Yeah, the noisy one. You know, the one that has the machines banging and pounding and making all that noise. And I pretty much, I fell asleep during it. And when I came out, the technician said, "How did you do that? How did you fall asleep with all that noise?" I said, "Well, I just pictured myself under a big tree, and there was a really loud woodpecker up there banging away and making all that noise." And her face lit up, and she said, "You know how to meditate." I said, "There you go." Now, of course, as always happens with cases like that, when I do something that astounds the medical community, they want to talk to me about that, and they want to write about it, and I never hear from them again. I just never, ever hear from them again. I wrote about this. It may be at my website. I'm pretty sure it's in. I don't know if it's in one of the books I've got. and I'm not gonna run down the list to promote the books. I'm gonna promote one book later, but I did something during a medical procedure, and the doctors were amazed. The two doctors. Now we hear that word amazed a lot these days, but they were. I'm not going to say they were stunned, because I was stunned one time. I was stunned. Something did stun me. A guy punched me in the face while I was standing right in front of a cinder block wall. Trust me, I was stunned. But to be fair, I hit him first. And then I learned one of life's lessons, which is don't hit somebody when you're standing by a cinder block wall, because when they hit you back, you're going to start bouncing. So in 20 years of doing this particular medical procedure, which involved putting a thing up my arm and into my heart, that's a long story, but I said, I'll go to sleep. She said, it's going to be very uncomfortable, blah, blah, blah. I said, would it help you if I go to sleep? And they laugh at me. Yeah, been doing this 20 years. Nobody ever fell asleep. And so then next thing you know, I'm waking up, and she's saying, how'd you do that? How did you do that? And I explained it to her, and I explained that I write the technique. Now, I don't mean this as a plug, but it's going to sound like one. In my book called Bending Spoons with Your Mind and Other Mysteries of Mind Power. Now, bending spoons is not, we don't do that because we like to destroy property. It's a matter of exercising the mind. And yes, it can be done. And yes, it can be faked. And yes, there are people who fake it, but I'm not one of them. And you won't be either if you get that book and follow that technique. It is doable. If you just go to mojoacademy.org and look for Bending Spoons and Other Mysteries of Mind Power, I think that's sort of the name, but you'll see. Take a look at the cover of that book, because on the cover is the very first spoon I ever bent. I took a nice picture of that. And I mean, I bent it just by slightly touching it, just a slight touch. It just curled up. So she was fascinated, this doctor, because I fell asleep during this bizarre, lengthy, and annoying procedure, as they call it. And she wanted to talk to me about it, because as a doctor, she wanted to broaden her horizons, and I knew I'd never hear from her again. And I never did, because I'm sure that by the next day, she convinced herself that it never even happened. She had a 20-year record of everybody being hideously uncomfortable while she does this procedure. And here I just fell asleep, and I explained to her how I did it, and then she never spoke to me again. So, it's like a psychic one-night stand, I suppose. But that's the way it goes. I think all of this is by way of discussing natural magic and the mind. See, that's what, if you can change the way you see things, you can change the way things are. It's really that simple. It sounds bizarre, I know, but I'll give you an example. Next time you're sitting at a table, just wrap the table, feel the table, and know that it isn't solid. It isn't. It simply isn't solid. It is in a constant state of movement. It's just that the way it feels, we've all agreed to call it solid. You see, that's the kind of thing. Now, if you can shift your perspective so that you see it moving, which is a hell of a trick. I mean, I certainly haven't been able to do that, but then you'll see things very differently. And magic is so natural and intrinsic to the human soul because it started with the moon. It started with the spirits of the lake. It started with the spirits of the tree. It started with the spirits of the vegetation. A lot of medicine is based on nature. They laugh at oh yeah, well, you want to go back to the days of using leeches? Okay, fine. Look it up. They are using leeches now. They still are, because they found that leeches have an anticoagulant that they spread. See, so there you go. That's fascinating. The herb foxglove. I'm not going to take that for heart troubles. Okay, fine. Take digitalis. That is foxglove, though. You see, they just gave it a fancy name. So this is by way of saying that this stuff is completely natural. It's intrinsic to human beings. You don't have to do it, but we all do it to some extent because we all have a lucky coin or which is a talisman, an amulet, things like that. And for the next hour, we are going to bend reality just a little bit using the trusty deck of tarot cards. I'm using the Hanson Roberts tarot, by the way. That's one of my favorites. It's small too, and I don't have much space right here, but it's based on the Rider-Waite deck, and you can look it up. It's a nice solid tarot deck, and it's been in print for years and years and years, and it's beautiful and colorful, and it's easy to understand. And if you want to know about how to read tarot yourself, look for my book called Reverend Eliot's Magical Window, just like this show. It not only is a book that explains tarot cards, but it comes with a CD that has actual readings on it. I guess I'll have to update that at some point, maybe put like a thumb drive in there instead of a CD. If you have any opinion on that, let me know at asktarot@earthlink.net, because I know a lot of people don't use CDs anymore. It's, I have cylinders here for record players from the turn of the 20th century. I mean, that's old-fashioned. But I never thought I'd live to see the day that CDs were considered grandpa's material. But there you go. So we're all shuffled up. Why don't we just get to the readings, and I can babble later. I just wanted you all to know about the moon stuff and moon magic, and there's so many wonderful things that you can do, and it's about consciousness and understanding the connection that we all have to each other, because we all, as I say at the beginning, we're all children of the universe. The universe made you as it made me, as it made everything. As the apple tree apples, the universe peoples, is what Alan Watts used to say. So let's ring a bell 3 times to declare sacred space, and we'll get to the readings for today. And the first reading on the rather grandiosely titled Reverend Eliot's Magical Window is Michelle in Alabama. Hi, Michelle. You're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
I'm all right. I was wondering what you saw for me with my grandsons I'm raising.
Oh, well, that's interesting, because the first card I've got here, just as you started asking me, is the Judgment card, which we can forget the meaning for the moment, but it shows it shows a little child, and some people raising the little child, which is pretty interesting. So I guess the cards anticipated your calling. The next cards I have are the 5 of Rods and the 7 of Rods. Now, this tells me that it's not easy. It isn't, is it?
No.
Yeah.
1 7 and 1 17 months.
Well,
I'm not young.
No, well, nobody's. You know something? I get the feeling nobody's young anymore. It's.
I believe it.
The 5 of Rods is about some difficulties and just facing the difficulties, but the 7 of Rods is a person who can sweep away all the difficulties. So you're going to be fine. It's not easy, but you'll be able to handle it. Be sure, this is the 4 of Swords. It's a card about taking time out and resting and letting things kind of percolate and grow. That is the warning not to overwork yourself, which with tiny kids, that's easier said than done. I know, but it's just a matter of taking time for yourself. Be sure you give time to yourself, because you can't take care of anyone if you don't take care of you. First, there's a lot of people who think that that's selfishness to take time out to take care of yourself, but you can't help anyone if you don't help yourself. I see that there were some very difficult times in the near past, but they're over now. Okay, that's the good news. That's the 10 of Swords. Whatever bad stuff was going on and things that were very difficult and painful, it's over. Okay, so that's good. Now you've got the Page of Cups and the Ace of Cups, which are cards of almost an emotional rebirth, about joy and happiness coming back into your life after a dark period. And the 6 of Rods is another card of success and triumph and This shows that you're going to do fine. One last card, the Empress, shows that you're a person who makes things grow and happen. Now, in this case, you're going to be helping people to grow, but that's your nature, is that you make things happen and make things grow. It's a difficult time, but you're going to be okay as long as you remember to take care of yourself too. Okay, that's what I'm seeing in these cards. The Temperance card tells me that there's balance, because there was some lack of balance in your life. That was part of the bad stuff that was happening, but the Temperance tells me that there will be a return of balance. And hey, I've got the 10 of coins, and that is one of those cards that's about generations, children, grandchildren, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-grandchildren, the whole thing. That's a very good sign in this. That it says that you're going to handle this job very well. Okay?
Awesome. That sounds awesome.
Beautiful. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. At the end of the show, I'm going to light a white candle to send positive energy your way to help you out and maybe give you a little boost of energy. How's that?
That would be awesome. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I'm going to shuffle up the cards. Listen, I don't know if you can hear it, but my nose is all clogged up here. It just happens when the air is dry. It sounds like I've got a cold probably, but I don't. My health is as good as it's going to get. I have energy again. I'm active. I don't mind walking up the stairs carrying giant boxes of things being delivered. But that's the exercise that I get. But, oh, boy, if it sounds like I have a cold, I don't. I just have my nose is just so dry from the dry air here. We've had such odd weather here in New York. We haven't had any snow yet. I mentioned this last week because people are complaining that we've had no snow, and I can assure you that once the snow comes, people are going to be complaining about the snow. That's just the nature of New Yorkers. We'll complain about anything and do it repeatedly. But I'm at the age where the less slippery the sidewalk is, the better I feel. That sort of crept up on me. We go from being little kids who can't wait for the snow, and we run out with shovels, and so we get to this point where we don't pay any attention to the snow. Robin in Brandon, Mississippi is next. Hi, you're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hi.
Hi, how are you tonight?
I'm okay.
Well, maybe we can make that a little better. What can I look at for you?
The future.
Okay, that's kind of big territory. What would you like to see there?
Romance and what's ahead of me.
Okay, let's see what we can get in terms of romance. How's that? I will shuffle them up now. And let's see what we got. The shuffling the cards on a radio stream is not very interesting, I know, but it's got to be done. And like I keep threatening to do when I switch over to video, at least you can see me, and then there'll be a different layer of boredom as I shuffle the cards. But let's see. Then we'll cut the deck. And, did you just recently have a relationship that ended?
Yes.
Okay, this is important because that's what this is about. There's a card called the Five of Cups, which is cups are about affairs of the heart and emotions and romance. And the Five of Cups is a partial loss. It means that something didn't work out and it's painful, and the person in the card's looking at 3 spilled cups, but there are 2 full cups behind her, which she'll turn around at some point and see and realize that she hasn't lost as much as she thought. And, there's no hurry. When the time comes, you'll see that it's not as bad as you thought. But it hurts right now.
All right.
The next card is Temperance, and that's good because when we get out of a relationship that didn't work out, there's so many things that it throws us off balance, to put in the short description. The Temperance card is about balance restored. So that's good. You're going to be fine in terms of this. In fact, the Six of Swords is here, and that is a card of a person whose mental attitude, we were talking about the mind before, gets you from where you are to where you want to be. You go from rough waters to calm waters is what the picture shows here. So you're going to work your way through this, and you're going to be fine. The Six of Rods is here. I just had that for a previous person. That's a card that says that's great success and triumph. So you're going to be able to move ahead and do fine. The Nine of Coins is here. The Nine of Coins is a very interesting card in this respect. It's not about being alone. It's about a person who is okay if they should spend time alone. Some people think that that means like you're going to be a hermit and be alone and not have anyone in your life. That's not what it means. It means that you're going to find, you can find comfort. You don't need somebody to complete you. Let me put it that way. And when you get to that point, you have the Sun card, which is health and happiness and healing and growth. And after that, I have the Four of Rods, which indicates a happy relationship, a happy home, all kinds of good stuff. So what I'm seeing now is, yes, there will be romance and relationship and love in your future. Right now, you're kind of a little still shell-shocked from what happened in the last attempt. But you're going to get over that, and you're going to come out of it much better and stronger. Okay?
All right.
Do I see anything coming for you soon? Yeah. Wow. Yes. Okay. Yes, I do. I sure do. I have the Lovers card, I have the Page of Cups, and I have the Five of Cups. The cup cards, again, about relationships and love and emotion. The Page of Cups tells me something new in terms of romance is going to appear in your life. The Four of Cups tells me it's going to be something that you're not expecting. It's going to come from someone you didn't even expect to see. So that's good. And the Lovers card, of course, that speaks for itself. So don't count yourself out. You're just you're still a little bit under the influence of a previous relationship that didn't work out. And when that settles down, and it always does at the right time, so you don't have to force yourself, it's coming. When that happens, you'll have a nice new relationship, and it'll work out very well from what I see here. Okay?
Okay.
So keep that in mind. The Page of Cups is good because that means the page is the physical appearance of something. The Ace of Cups is more about like the potential, but this is real. This is tangible. There is a romance coming your way, and the Four of Cups tells me it's going to be coming from a direction you didn't expect. Could be somebody who you know who has interest in you but never let you know about it before. So yeah, keep an eye around your friends because there's somebody there who's interested in you who hasn't told you, okay?
Okay.
So let me know how it works out if you like, okay? And maybe we can take a look at some more cards. I can always be found through magic-works.com, magick-works.com. My email is asktaro@earthlink.net, but you can check out the information at askoneradio.com also and get in touch. There's a million ways to get in touch with me, okay?
All right.
Best of luck to you, Robin.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
And we'll shuffle them up. That's, the discombobulation when a relationship doesn't work out is, that's that can look. Words fail me. It's been a long time that I've been in this one particular relationship for about 37 years. I'm still not sure about it. But this is an old joke. It's Henny Youngman joke. I've been in love with the same beautiful woman for 40 years. My wife finds out, she'll kill me. Oh, wait a minute. If I'm going to do that, then I have to do this. Okay. But the cards in that case, they show that everything is going to settle down. There'll be a new relationship. It'll be a good relationship. And it's always good to see things that way. I rarely get bad readings for people, which is good, because rarely do bad things happen. There are things that we don't like that happen sometimes, but it's not necessarily bad. As Shakespeare said, there's neither good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. Well, I would argue that. I once saw the aftermath of a person who got hit by a bus, and I would say that that was pretty bad. But, I don't think there's an upside. You don't go to a person who's been hit by a bus and say it's a blessing in disguise. And by the way, if somebody does tell you that whatever happened to you is a blessing in disguise, just run, because that means you got shafted by life. Sometimes bad things happen. And I have that at my website. Why? Go to magic-works.com. I'm not saying why should I have it there. Just that's the name of the page. Why? Magic-works.com. MAGICK-works.com. Just look at the why, the page that's about why. Why is this happening? I'll put a link to that, because I'm convinced that that's the first question that human beings ask, which is, the second question. The first question is, what the heck was that? And the second question is, why? Why did that happen? And we've been asking it ever since, haven't we? Oh, boy, the idea that, people have changed. We're still the same. We're still the same apes that we always were. We have different machines now, that's all. April, that's my deep philosophical moment for the day. April in Brigham City, Utah is on next. Hi, April. You're on with Reverend Eliot. April, you with me? Have we lost April?
No.
Oh, there you are. Hi, April.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yeah. Yes,
Are you with me, April?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah, can
yes.
you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you tonight? How are you doing tonight, April?
I'm all right.
Well,
Let's
see if we can make that better. What would you like to look at?
What would I like to look into?
Yeah. You have a question?
Or, Yeah, I just struggle with the loss of my child, and I was just wondering if there was anything out there for me for that.
Oh, boy. Well, let me tell you. When you called, the first card I got was the Eight of Swords. I mean, before you even spoke to me, I had the card, the Eight of Swords, which is about a person who feels like tied up and lost and blindfolded and struggling. And let me tell you, I understand. There's words are. This is why I like the cards, because they show what words can express. And yeah, you're in a very dark period of your life right now. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing is about, is there a future for me? Is that, because does it feel that bleak for you?
That what?
Does it feel that dark for you? Do you want to know if there's a future for you? Because I'm seeing, yes, there is a future for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's very dark, obviously.
Yeah, it's just quite dark now. I also have the Four of Swords as a card here about, in many ways, you just need to be left alone by a lot of people. Do you get that feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that this is a period where a lot of people will try to help, and sometimes they mean well, but it doesn't work out, and that adds to the burden, because these are sword cards, and there are two meanings to swords, and they're mental activity and struggle and strife, obviously, because it's swords. The air aspect is where the mental stuff comes in. Your cards here that I'm getting are overpoweringly sad cards. Let me put it that way. And yet, I do see you working through this. And I do see you coming out the other end. You're never going to forget this. Let's face it. I mean, there's a justice card here too. It's almost as if there's something that you need to seek justice for something that's going on related to this. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I see that working out for you. But it'll take some time. But this whole dark thing here that I've got, it's just overpowering everything at the moment. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards here that are all swords. This is not a good time at all for you. We'll put it that way. But I'm not seeing it as being permanent. You see that because you asked about the future. And yes, I see the Temperance card, which means balance is restored. I have the World, which is a card of success and joy and fulfillment. And I have Justice, which is a card of getting justice. I've also got the Fool card here, which is fascinating because the card of the Fool, it doesn't mean you're foolish. I see all this working out for you, but right now it's a very heavy thing. Okay, it's very heavy. Just you're. Let me put it this way: you've got like every one of the really, really sad cards in the tarot deck. You've got them. Okay, they're here. You know, the cards are just, especially the 9 of Swords, the 3 of Swords, the 8 of Swords. These are abysmally sad, and so I can't see specifics for you now because it's a cloud. But I'm jumping ahead. I've got the Fool card, which shows you have divine protection. I have the Justice card, which shows that there will be justice in your case. I have the Temperance card, which shows that balance will be restored. And I have the World card, which shows that things will work out fine for you, although you'll always carry this tragedy. You know that, obviously. So just do what you can to get through this period, okay? And get whatever help you need. And keep in mind that there are people around you who want to help you. They just may not know how. And tell them, okay? Tell them what you want and what you need. And I have one last card for you, which is the Star. And that is a card of hope and optimism. So what I'm getting is that I can't see specifics because there's such a real miasma, a cloud of darkness around you at the moment. But it will go away. So what I'm seeing is that there is a lot of darkness around you now, but it will pass, and I will light a white candle to send positive energy to help that negativity and darkness dissipate sooner. Okay, and you can get in touch with me at any time through askoneradio.com. It's easy to reach me there, or magic-works.com, magick-works. Okay, so you take care. And if you need to, just send me a message anytime. Okay. Bye-bye now. Let's see. Joanne in Victoria, Texas is next. Hi, Joanne. You're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hello.
Hi, Joanne. How are you tonight?
I'm okay.
Good. What can I look at for you?
I just wanted to know about my love situation and my finances.
Okay, finances. That I've got. I got that right at the top here. So first we'll look at that because that seems to be the most important thing. Yes. I have the 2 of Coins. That's a person who's been juggling money. Who hasn't been these days, right?
Yes.
Trying to get things going. The next card is the Ace of Coins, and that's good. The aces are about new beginnings. And it just shows that you may have an income stream, a new stream of money coming in. Now, here's the funny part. I'm not even going to deal with the meaning of these cards because I've got 4 more cards here, and they're all coins. So I've got 6 cards here for you, and they're all about money.
Oh.
So
okay.
There's money around you, and it's coming, and you'll get your piece of it. That's what I'm seeing here. You really will. Now,
okay.
Here's the really funny part of this whole thing, because you asked me 2 things. You asked me about money and romance, right?
Yes.
I got the Ace of Coins at the beginning about money, so I figured that's what we'll talk about. So I got you 6 cards here that all have money in them, so money will be fine. And now I have the Ace of Cups. See, the same thing is happening again. These cards love you. So yes, that means that there is going to be something coming to you in terms of romance and happiness and joy. The Two of Cups is here, and that generally means a new relationship. The Six of Cups is here. That's an interesting one because that's sometimes in readings like this, it means that somebody you knew many years ago may come back into your life.
Oh,
I don't mean,
wow.
sometimes it relates to memories of childhood and going further back.
Oh, gee.
But and here's the Queen of Cups. This is just silly. This is just ridiculous because you asked me about romance, and I get the Ace of Cups, and then all these other cards are cups. You ask me about money, and I get the Ace of Coins, and all the other cards are coins. So the message is clear. The two messages I'm getting are clear. The one message is these cards really respond to you.
Oh.
The next message is it's going to be fine in terms of money and romance. You're going to do just fine. It may be difficult now. I'm hesitating, not because of anything bad, but I just pulled two more cup cards and one more coin card. See what I mean? That's all I'm getting now. Here's another cup card. No, it's this happens once in a while. Regular listeners will know. Every single card I got here relates to either money or romance.
Oh, God. Okay.
And they're positive. They're all positive. That's the good news. If they were terrible, I would tell you. But these are all positive. So hang in there because you're gonna get what you want in both departments. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
That's just amazing. If that happens, I think it's been years since I did a reading where the cards flowed out like that.
Really?
Well, actually, no, it's never happened. What happens is somebody will ask me about romance, and I'll get all the cup cards, but that's rare. Somebody will ask me about career, and I'll get all kinds of rod cards. But you asked me about two things, and I got two sets of cards here, all of them relating to your question. You asked me about romance, and I got all these cup cards, and you asked me about money, and I got all the coin cards. In that order. That's so. Yes, these cards they love you, so it'll be okay. Things will work out for you. Okay.
Thank you.
Hang in there. Bye now.
I will. Thank you.
My pleasure. Bye. Let's see if we can get another call in as we round the corner to the end. Natasha, right here in New York City, is next. Hi, you're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
Wonderful, thank you.
Good. What can I look at for you? I've got a few minutes left.
Well, I wanted to look into my marriage. I'm trying to see if me and my husband will reconcile.
Okay.
We do have divorce papers in.
Oh, okay. Well, let me see.
Also, I wanted to know what my parents is thinking about all this, because I lost both of my parents 6 months before I got married.
Well, in terms of romance, no, something. I'm seeing a very volatile situation. I mean, it can change. I'm seeing the Wheel of Fortune here, which indicates changes. Judgment here, which indicates that's got to do with a legal decree that you mentioned. I'm sure of that. But now the question is the divorce going to go through, or are you going to reconcile? And I am getting positive cards and negative cards. See, and now I understand why. And I'll tell you in a moment, because I'm getting yes and no. Every card I get that looks good, I get a card that doesn't look so good. And I'll tell you why I think that is. I have a card here called the Seven of Swords, and that's about somebody who is kind of sneaking around behind your back, behind both of yours back, you and your husband, and is working against you. Do you get the feeling that there's somebody who's messing up, who's not happy with your plans and messing around with you?
I can't hardly hear you. Say it again.
Do you get the feeling that there's somebody there in your life who is kind of stirring up trouble between the two of you? Because that's what I see, that somebody's doing that.
I feel that there is maybe another woman somewhere that probably is filling his head, and even his mother, probably.
Well, that's a very strong possibility, because I've got a card here about a person who's kind of sneaking around in the background, making trouble, and that isn't good, you know. So that's what I see is going on now, and that's what's going to have to be dealt with in order for this to work out. Here I just shuffled up the cards, and I got that card again. It's the Seven of Swords. Now, aside from that, I do see cards of happiness. The thing is, then the negative cards come in. I have the Hierophant here, which is a card of marriage. You know, this is, and yet I have the Five of Cups, which is a card of partial loss. You see what I'm saying? It's up and down and up and down, and the reason is that there's somebody who is actively working against you in this regard. I would strongly suggest this, because you can go online and go to a place, let's say like Azure Green is the name of it, or Wisdom Products in California, or up in the Bronx, the original Botanica, or if you have a Botanica in your neighborhood. I don't know where you live in the city here. I'm in the Times Square area, and we used to have a lot of Botanicas, but I don't think we do anymore. Get a reversing candle, which is half black and half red. And they're a nice, hefty size candle, and use it. And that is alleged to send back the negativity to anybody who's sending it. Because right now, I can't see very far, except I keep seeing that there's somebody making trouble. And you might want to do what you can to neutralize that in terms of occult methods. And that would be a candle that's a black and red, and it's a return candle, and that'll return the negative energy that this person is throwing into your life and send it right back to that person. Okay?
So do you think that he loves me still?
I see a very strong possibility, yes, because I do have a bunch of happy cards, but then I see negative cards, you see. So, and I didn't understand it until I saw that Seven of Swords, which is that there is somebody who's actively working against you. So this is just see what you can do with that return candle, okay? I will go at my Facebook page. I don't know if you use Facebook at all, but you can go to Reverend Eliot's Tarot Consulting at Facebook, and I will put something there about a return candle, so you can see what they do and where you can get one. Okay. And if not, drop me in a line. You can find me easily. Go askoneradio.com. There's a link to contact me. All of that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
But I've got to run now, but your problem here is not you, and it's not your husband. It's this other person who is working against both of you here right now. One last card is the Ace of Cups, which is a card of happiness returning. And so there's a possibility that if you can neutralize this with a return candle, if that'll work, things will work out very well for you. There's a potential for happiness. My opinion from these cards is that he still loves you, but somebody's messing with him. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye now. And that's it. We've come to the end of another stimulating Reverend Eliot's Magical Window. It's, well, you know, I don't like giving readings like that because it's I'll tell you why. I got only about a minute or so to go. But a lot of people who do, who con people with this kind of work, which I don't like, is they'll say somebody's working against you, and for $5,000 I can fix it. You know, which is run like hell when you hear that. Take a look at my Facebook page. which is Reverend Eliot's Tarot Consulting, and I will put up later today, or just after the show, a link to a place where you can get a candle such as this, because this candle magic is really powerful stuff, and to return something. That's what you need sometimes. You can go to magic-works.com, magick-works.com, to look at my candle magic page. And when you look at my candle magic page, I will have added that. By the time tonight ends, I will have added something about return candles. I've got to run. We're out of time. So this is Reverend Eliot reminding you that time flies. It's up to you to be the navigator. Bye-bye now. See you next week.